So, what am I gonna review today? Oh boy. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without authorization of the copyright holder. This infringement of copyright is called fair use, and is allowed for purposes of criticism, news, reporting, teaching, and parody. This means you. So I figure September is too far away, so let's try pushing my luck some more in spirit of this review because I'm reviewing a titan of a show, Comedy Central's baby. Today, I'm reviewing South Park, so I can be a tad safer. I've grayscaled and mirrored the picture behind me. I'm sorry if you don't like it this way, but Viacom is still on my ass, and I'm not liking how my single card reviews are going. So I'm going to go back to a more visual medium. However, I feel like I'm dipping my toes in a minefield, but fuck it. The worst case scenario is this channel gets taken down, which is the reason why I made the channel in the first place. So I put a poll up on DeviantArt so people could vote for the next episode for me to review, and the votes were very scattered. So I had to put it on a wheel and spin it, and I got an episode that understands what it's talking about, but it doesn't give two backflipping fucks how offensive. The plot comes down to Cartman wants the ability to have a free stall to shit in at all times. So he decides to become transgender, which on his own is trying to push a point I despise. People who are transgender are born transgender. No one just becomes transgender. However, I know the majority of the time they have to learn they're transgender because 100 of the time nobody knows what a transgender is or whether or not they are one until later in life. We know Cartman is just using this excuse to get his own bathroom, and even if you don't get it within the first 2 minutes of the episode, intro included, you learn it for certain by the end of the episode. Now, let me just say, I would be fine with this episode if they just kept it in a not-so-serious tone, because it's South Park. I kind of expect them to do as much shock humor as they can, and you know, binge-watching all 18 seasons has kind of made me impervious to the shock. So yeah, if they just went out of their way to be silly with transgenderism, I suppose I could overlook a lot of this episode. But no, they try bringing it into a serious light, which could also be fine. Let's not mix words here. If you're going to mix comedy to an actual problem together, the episode becomes incredibly fragile and needs to be handled with care, or else you look like you couldn't give two Mr. Hankies about what the actual plot is supposed to be. So basically, I'm saying South Park cannot handle a serious topic. At all. Either go out all out with comedy, or throw us a curveball into a serious episode for once. Or a third option, get better writers, because it's obvious Trey Parker and Matt Stone don't like taking things seriously. Just to reiterate, I don't mind that fact. It's just if you don't want to take things either 90% serious or 100% silly, then your episode is going to look bad. Especially to people who may be suffering from the topics you are covering, such as myself and this episode. So let's look at what they had to say about transgenders. I can't use the audio, so I have to go with the lines here within the first several minutes of the episode. I'm transgender. I looked it up. That means I can use a girl shitter. It would be nice if every school allowed it. However, there are still hundreds, if not thousands of schools in the United States where transgenders aren't allowed to use the restroom they feel comfortable in. However, that's not the only description one should give of transgenders. It means I live a life of torture and confusion because society sees me as a boy but really I'm a girl. Well, at least we know what the fuck it is you're talking about, so South Park, good job, you get an A for understanding. I can be transgender without it having anything to do with the gender I'm attracted to. Check the state bylaws. Okay, an A+. So they obviously understand what the fuck they're talking about. That must mean they know how harmful it is to people who still have the rights that they need to live a normal life, right? Then why the fuck do you have Cartman playing this role? All you're doing is giving a bad impression on states who will look at this episode and give the argument that people become transgender so that they can spy on girls in the bathroom and in the locker rooms. Something that they already do to discriminate against us. They could have used an actual transgender celebrities, no matter how few there are, or make up a character that is transgender. I mean, we've seen it before with Mormons, Muslims, and even the homeschool. So it's nothing too out of the ordinary for South Park to introduce characters for a one-episode topic on a certain way of living that isn't what most society considers normal. Generally, the story is Cartman's a dick to be a dick.
There, and